existing international legal frameworks. Those frameworks that we know, the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, and certainly the declarations of Durban in 2001, those declarations essentially that declared slavery as a crime against humanity. And so we now have this moral imposition, the moral dimension to this.
Looking ahead, Professor Beckles reveals that Caricom will host a major international conference on reparation in the region this year. The event is expected to bring together global voices as part of the next phase of the movement. The Commission also plans to visit Europe to continue dialogue with the European public.
Also visiting Europe as a commission, we believe that there has to be ongoing conversations with the European public on this matter. We believe that there are strong voices in the communities of the UK and Europe that are keen to welcome us to have dialogue and conversations, and that we will continue to do in the course of the next couple of months. And as you have heard, the Commonwealth heads of governments are meeting in Antigua in the Caribbean, and we are going to be very much all around that engagement. So month by month, quarter by quarter, the struggle will continue with tremendous intensity.
Professor Beckles explains that reparative justice must be pursued through government-to-government engagement. He also reiterates Caricom's call for formal dialogue with the European and British governments to advance discussions on reparations.
African people were stolen people. And under international law, stolen people have a right to be facilitated and the return to the place from which they were stolen, if that is what they so desire. And those communities in the Caribbean, not only the Rastafarian community who have been calling for this for almost 100 years, but those who believe that they must be returned from where they were stolen, they have a right. And that is a part of our strategy, to have a conversation about how to facilitate those people, those descendants who wish to be returned on the basis that they were stolen and have never accepted the reality in which they find themselves. So we stand by that. That is part of our 10-point plan.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
With sections of St. James covered in mud and floodwaters after a 3-hour downpour on Sunday, the National Works Agency stepped in on Tuesday with a plan to mitigate the problem. Following the recent battering from Hurricane Melissa in October, the residents expressed a fear of starting over after experiencing what they described as a traumatic flashback on Sunday. Natasha Williams has this report.
With mud plastered everywhere, that's the scene many residents in central St. James were left to clear on what was supposed to be a peaceful Palm Sunday. With some residents expressing fright, they are once again left to pick up the pieces and relive the memories from Hurricane Melissa.
All over again, traumatized. It's not a good experience. You put you back at one place where you are trying to heal from. And it's not a good feeling. Not a good feeling at all. Very traumatizing.
For Jeanette, this recurring flooding hits like a deja vu.
From the storm blow, me have one shop there, so it wash away. The tree them in the water from the storm. Now the river come down yesterday, it worse. And then it back from yesterday, wash away the car, wash away the shop again. And at this, they continue to get flooded out, and we need help because we are not getting no help to clean the river, and we need help.
Counsel for the Somerton Division, Michael Allen, says since a blockage during Hurricane Melissa, he has been trying to seek help to clear the river.
So at least if this gully coast was cleared before the shower rain, at least say 70%, 80% of water would pass through, so we wouldn't have this terrible act again.
He says with approximately 10 families being affected, the issue needs to be addressed now.
We need it to properly cleaned. But I talked to my superintendent, which is not the parish council, it's the NWA. And I plead to them Zakova repeatedly. And this is the end product.
Community Relations Officer at the National Works Agency Western Region, Janelle Ricketts, visited Johns Hall area on Tuesday. Ricketts told her news team the agency is currently conducting an assessment to repair the damage and will provide help to clear the debris and blocked drains. However, for a permanent fix to a long-standing problem, Ricketts says desilting the river should prevent further flooding.
Most of the river channels here, we would have observed that there is significant silting, and this will have to be a part of the plan going forward in terms of desilting these areas. It's a major undertaking that will need to correct these sections here. Significant rainfall which has caused major damage and will indeed take some amount of work to have it repaired and return to normalcy.
Natasha Williams, CVM News.
A former member of parliament has been charged in relation to a sexual offence involving a minor. In a statement issued Monday, the People's National Party confirmed that it had been made aware of the allegations and has since initiated internal processes regarding the accused's membership. Reports are that the mother of a teenage girl filed a complaint with the police, alleging that the former parliamentarian assaulted her daughter, a minor, in January. The matter was reported to the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, CISOCA, which led to the accused being arrested and charged. He remains in police custody. The PNP says its thoughts are with the victim and others affected, emphasizing that the protection of children and vulnerable people must remain a priority. The party says it will limit further comment as the matter is now before the courts, while expressing confidence in a fair and thorough judicial process. Meanwhile, the People's National Party's women's movement highlighted the broader problem of sexual violence against children in Jamaica, citing a 2023 UNICEF survey showing nearly 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 10 boys experience abuse, with about 25% of perpetrators being family members. The group called for stronger protections and a review of the Sexual Offences Act to ensure all children are safeguarded. With that, we take a break. Do stay with us.
Jason has watched every World Cup from here, but not today, because he made all his purchases with Visa and won a trip to the FIFA World Cup 2026. Whoever uses their Visa the most
the internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
More than
I'm me, the stylist, no scam and style me.
From the market to the farm to the office, money talk is everywhere. But are you making sense or nonsense? The Bank of Jamaica brings you common sense with BOJ. Real stories, real laughs, and real lessons to help you protect, grow, and manage your money. Mattress savings.
At least my mattress, you charge me to sleep on it.
Partner plan.
Remember last year we needed our payouts early, but Miss Pam gave it to her cousin first.
Or a sketchy loan flyer.
Electrifying deals.
See why making the right financial choices is pure common sense. Brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, empowering everyday Jamaicans, one episode at a time.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's
KFC Saucy Wings. Available in sweet red chili and citrus chipotle barbecue. KFC, it's finger licking good. The time by KFC is
7:30.
Welcome back. Giovanni Dennis now joins us for a look ahead at Lead Story Prime.
Well, thank you so much, Nika. So we're looking at the very important issue. Two topics we're doing tonight. It's a half and half program. Current issue, that controversial University Hospital of the West Indies performance audit report by the Auditor General, of course, flagging Jack, then a company owned by a sitting member of Parliament, the PNP's Dennis Gordon. We'll be hearing from the Jamaica Labour Party and the Executive Director of JAMP, that's Jeanette Calder, on this issue. And then the other topic, very important issue that may be going a little bit quietly right now, a little bit too quiet, so we have to give some attention to it. The United Nations very recently recognized the transatlantic slavery, the enslavement of African people, as the most grievous crime against humanity. We'll be getting reactions to that, so you don't want to miss that. That's Lead Story Prime coming up at 8 o'clock.
Must-see TV. You know what else is must-see TV? Business Report with Joel Crosskill right now.
Lots to share with you in the business report today, from an unorthodox perspective on Jamaica's development and the capital required to drive it, courtesy of Beresford Gray, President and CEO of the Cygnus Group, perhaps the region's leading alternative investment operation, who indulged the business report with an insight into outcome thinking, where the why, rather than the what, could be explored, starting with the strategy behind how the Cygnus Group has been structured.
Our ambition was always to be a multi-asset alternative strategy manager. And by a multi-strategy, we mean looking at different asset classes and also then identify the capital that want to take risk and reward in a particular asset class. And doing that, we are able to be more surgical, be more focused, and build teams with deep expertise around the different asset classes. That's a different and more deliberate strategy, we feel, than, let's call it, a strategy that put everything into one pot.
Another part of the ambition of the now 10-year-old group is to have US $1 billion in assets under management.
At the end of this year, we expect that Cygnus will manage $1 billion or very close or above. I don't know where we'll hand in alternative investment across the region.
It represents more than a milestone, but reflects the group's role as a bridge between capital and opportunity.
The bottom line is, if we hit $1 billion in alternative asset which is deployed in real estate, private credit, private equity, and impact, it also means that we probably have mobilized another $1.5 billion over the 10 years that we would have been in the existence in businesses. It also means that there have been a lot of businesses that have grown, that we have funded to either do acquisition, do development, etc., that would not have been able to grow or expand their business over the last decade.
Gray believes alternative investment opportunities can accelerate the rate of change, especially in alignment with development goals and Jamaica's ambition to build back better post-Melissa.
Right now we have stability, no growth. That's why we are seeing 1 billion here, 1 there. And for us, because we haven't seen it in our lifetime, we think it's impressive. From Cygnus' point of view, it's not impressive. We are way more ambitious than that.
He reasons that as Jamaica's alternative investment market matures, new vistas for rapid growth become available.
Where we are right now in the market is that it's a very fledged market. Cygnus is on the verge of managing $1 billion in AUM, which will make us probably by far the largest alternative player in the region. But as a percentage of GDP, if you take the total alternative investment market, we are still probably, I don't know, like 0.1% of aggregate GDP.
In the US, it's closer to 10%.
We are just at the start. If we can get the alternative investment market to get to 3 or 5% of GDP, just imagine, $50 billion, $30 billion are so of capital going in real estate, private credit, private equity, how transformative that would be in complementing the bank market, the cap markets. You're talking about propelling GDPs in the region to be more innovative and growing at, 5-10%, transforming infrastructure. That's what we are trying to do.
While acknowledging catalytic potential of the finance minister's announcement of an expansion from 5 to 7.5% and eventually 10% of pension funds being made available for investment in private Jamaican enterprise, he suggests there remains some hesitancy from pension fund managers themselves.
Yeah, there's pushback, and the main reason is just that it requires that you come out of your comfort zone.
Gray suggests local capital alongside international investors is critical for continuity and also helps shift the narrative on the perception of risk in Jamaica and the broader Caribbean market.
From where the pension funds sit, I think that they need to rethink their strategies. They need to drastically rethink their strategies. And by that, I mean, they need to think about, how do I really formulate teams and look at opportunities, especially infrastructure opportunities that can be added to my portfolio with a very long duration, that these are proven areas of cash flow, or there are strong fundamental contracts that will protect them. So pension funds could actually drive what we call the secondary market for infrastructure assets in Jamaica and the Caribbean. They just need to call the investment bankers, or when we go to them with deal, just be open to the value proposition.
Some of which will be explored on our return to One Belmont. And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crossgill.
We turn now to regional and international news with Marshall Hazley.
We begin with news in the region. Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, has renewed calls for transparency from Caricom regarding the reappointment of Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett. We hear more from TTT News.
In a post to her social media, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar SC says the process used to reappoint Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett raises serious concerns. She notes that the matter was not included on the official agenda of the 50th meeting of Conference of Heads of Government in St. Kitts and Nevis, nor formally addressed during plenary discussions. According to the Prime Minister, the issue was instead reportedly discussed during a retreat session that did not include all member states, prompting questions about whether proper procedures under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas were followed. The government of Trinidad and Tobago has since submitted formal objections and written to CARICOM Chairman Dr. Terence Drew and the Secretary General seeking clarification.
Further afield, Qatar is calling for a diplomatic solution to the conflict as soon as possible. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Majed Al-Ansari says the war is at a critical point. Al Jazeera reports.
Right now, I don't think Qatar can offer any answers to your questions. The only thing we can do is to say that all of us in the region have always had a very clear position around this. The infractions on our sovereignty by Iran cannot